Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Aquarius July 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, a great deck this month for you. Excuse me, one of the most famous decks alongside that Rider-Waite deck is the Thoth deck, which was said to have been developed by a guy called Aleister Crowley, who many people were frightened of and felt he was some sort of a demon or something like that. He wasn't. He was a junkie who was addicted to heroin and opium, coke, whatever else he could get his hands on. And was really something of a con man, to tell you the truth, because he really made his living off women. And when I say off women, one of the women was, and the woman who is the actual heroine when it comes to this deck, to use the, no pun intended, the actual, the hero of this deck was Frida Harris, and a marvelous painter, artist, and she got it. Now, of course, as a clairvoyant, you know I provide clairvoyant readings to you wherever you may be in the world over FaceTime or Google Meet. Google Meet is so simple to use. The details are in the description. Now I charge for those separately. There's something that I do not charge for, and you don't have to have a reading. You won't be talked into having a reading, nothing. For free. Without any expectation, nothing. Free lunch is the gift of healing. Now, whereas the clairvoyant readings can go for about 90 minutes, the healing, you can go anywhere from between 15 minutes to an hour, depending on what's going on. I happily provide them. It's my spiritual duty. We all have, I suppose, things to do when we're here, and that's one of mine. Now, if this is calling out to you, and you'll know if it is, I really do encourage you, don't be shy. I mean, we know each other now, so just reach out, and I'm very happy to do it. I set time aside each day. Now, there are no ads in this, so you don't get interrupted. Let's see what there is. Four of Cups. What's that? Oh, that's a side boundary thing. Three of Wands. Queen of Wands. Gee whiz. Five of Cups being blown away, and here there is, there's a Nine of Swords being blown away as well. But isn't this great? Because we're going to be able to talk about this, because it's good for you. I can see you getting over it. Now, without giving it away now, why don't you come sit down here next to me? You and I'll have a look at the beautiful art that's on these things together, and they will reflect the cosmic energy around and onto the reading for you. What a fascinating month it looks like for you. Great love here, maybe a disappointment thing, some recurring thoughts going on in your head. You do regain your power and personal esteem and great confidence, self-esteem going forward. Marvelous energy here, bringing success and abundance to you. I want to start with this. You drew it first, after all, which is, what? The Four of Cups. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the Four of Cups. Well, astrologically, you can see it is the moon in the sign of Cancer. Well, the moon rules Cancer, which is really great. And this speaks to me now for you of love around you, tenderness, care, and emotional riches. Now, this pink lotus that you can see up the top there, see, this deck is one where you can really take something from the imagery, you see. This pink lotus, I really think it speaks to the love you have received from others. And this is part of the emotional richness which fulfills you now. And it might also express itself in your environment through beauty and, well, and luxury, I suppose. The ability to accept this great love in humility and thankfulness will reveal an inner fullness within you that can be shared with others. Now, looking at these four, I assume here, 1, 2, 3, 4 golden cups. They express the wealth of feeling at hand, and their roots are embedded deep into your subconscious. Now, this feeling of great emotional fulfillment is a luxury, I suppose, and this luxury is a responsibility as well as a gift, and it requires sensible behavior and awareness, as well as the ability to enjoy and share and to pass it on to others. There is, however, because the moon does have the different phases of the moon, you might find that your emotional states could change like waves pulled by the tides of the moon here, and the emotions might take on a life of their own, where moderation is thrown to the winds, and you are driven by the emotions subconsciously. That's where these roots are going down beneath the waters of the emotions there. Now, if that does happen, of course, then what will happen is that the pale blue sky will start to get some clouds around it and darken, and the water will lose its clarity. So it's really the time now to be especially awake. Now, I don't want to say this, but I feel that I must because it's coming up. Is there some boredom or dissatisfaction in your life? Maybe you have become a bit too familiar with your environment. Do you have enough motivation going on? Now, it could well be that you look to material things for happiness. That is, you seek a temporary pleasure as an escape from feelings of discontentment. This, of course, is reminding you to realize what you do have and to appreciate it, because as you know, others are far worse off than you are. And interestingly, the next card in that suit is this one, which I'll go to now, is the 5 of Cups. Now, 5s, they have a bit of instability associated with them because they are associated with, for me, mystically, with the planet of Mars. And I notice that Mars here in the glyph is also coming into Scorpio. This is a double Mars, a lot of heat. Maybe there's an unfulfilled expectation or a loss of sense of balance. Because of that instability coming from the numerology of 5, there could be some unexpected disturbances, maybe problems in relationships. Now, these cups, which were golden, as we saw here, now they have become glasses, and they are empty and fragile. And this 5-pointed pentagram is pointing downward, which for me mystically indicates the victory of matter over spirit, but I won't go into that. What I will say, though, with all of this hot energy from all of this double Mars around here, it's as if a hot wind has come through and uprooted the lotus and wilted the blossoms that we can see here, and this salty water is dead. Perhaps your expectations of somebody or something have been much too big. Some unexpected event, perhaps only a thoughtless reaction, has ruined them abruptly. I don't think this is a major thing, though. But with all of this Mars around, the aggressively destructive energies now dominating the scene, You know, I suspect that, and I'm looking under here, I suspect that these energies have probably been smouldering beneath the surface for a long time, and you have overlooked them. Maybe because you didn't want to admit to their existence. You ignored the warning of your inner voice. But now you have to face the sobering facts and look them in the eye. But you know, of course, that every disappointment contains within it the possibility of an important learning experience. I will say this, and here's the good news as far as I can see here. Now, the roots of this lotus, if you look at them down here, they are coiled in the shape of a butterfly, the symbol of transformation, where you, as a caterpillar, will become the butterfly. Now, you might ask yourself, in what areas of your life do you fear disappointment? And what have you learned from the disappointments you've experienced until now? And how can you prevent disappointment? But do say to yourself, I get to know my own reality by learning to see where I fool myself or where I deny my inner voice. Expectations, you see, it's all about expectations. Do you know, I don't know if I've told you this, but by way of an anecdote, amongst my circle of friends, there's a lady who has told me that she had a history of making decisions very quickly about men. She'd always fallen in love fast and without really looking at the risks. She said she had a tendency not only to see the best in everyone, but to assume that everyone is emotionally capable of reaching his highest potential. And she said that she had fallen in love more times than she cares to count with the highest potential of a man, rather than with the man himself. And she held on to the relationship for a long time, sometimes far too long, waiting for the man to rise up to his own greatness. And many times in romance, she said, she was the victim of her own expectations and optimism. Now, in a sense, this energy is also pushing around into this. I love this. I love this painting. Look at this. This is the Nine of Swords here. And here again we have Mars. And it's in Gemini down there. Well, the one-pointed nature of Mars does not sit well with the scattered energy of Gemini. And there is well, let me look at the art on it first. There are 9 swords of different lengths, and they're hanging next to each other, pointing downward. And they are rusted, chipped, and dripping blood from their tips. These things in the background, these little white things that you see there, they are the tears. And the tears in the background speak to the great suffering brought about by the swords, clarity, which is being disturbed by Gemini, has kind of disintegrated into a pile of rubble. Now, it's called cruelty, this card, but really, this is a cruelty which I think is something that is directed at yourself, self-accusation, punishing yourself, a passive resistance even maybe to something. This can take the form of like 2 people in your own mind talking and debating between 2 points of view, and you are afraid to make a definite choice. And then you put yourself down for your indecisiveness. Or you go ahead and make a choice which maybe doesn't work out particularly well, but so what, that's life. But you torture yourself with Well, because your conscience is saying that you did wrong. There is a negative thought loop going on here, and the reason why I say that is because of this number 9. 9 is recurring always. You could multiply any number by 9 and it always comes back to 9. 9 threes are 27, 2 and 7 are 9. 9 nines are 81. 8 and 1 are 9. Multiply any number and it'll always come back to this. So this is coming around and around and around. And these negative thoughts of yours, do you know, in the healings, did I mention that in the description, I provide over FaceTime or Google Meet healing for free without any expectation, no obligation. A lot of the time, and many of the people I speak to, this is a problem that they have. You're always welcome to contact me if you want to. The email's in the description. But what's going on here is these are thoughts that are attacking you. Now, what is a thought? A thought is a picture. And it's a picture that you have created yourself. You've painted the picture, and then you turn together the words that give a description to the picture. You put the words together, you create the words. And I can assure you that the most powerful words that you will ever hear in your life are the words that you tell yourself. Now, a lot of this thing, I think, may be, and with respect, it could be due to lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, lack of belief in yourself, lack of self-worth, very often about things that have come about through childhood or as a result of things that have happened later, traumatic, narcissistic relationships and things like that. The important thing to remember always is this, that you are good enough. You are loved exactly as you are. You are lovable. You always will be lovable. You are important. You matter. And yet these thoughts that come in, they've been programmed into your subconscious. And of course, your subconscious is the software and it runs the computer, which is your conscious mind and your body. Thoughts give rise to feelings, and feelings give rise to behaviors, and they lodge in your body. And you continue telling yourself that you're not good enough or you don't deserve something. This is wrong because you are a child of the beloved. Very often, these thoughts come around and around and around when you least expect them, like when you're getting into the shower in the morning, you lie down on the bed and the thought comes into you as if it's being dropped like a bomb, and you passively resist it. What you do is you stand up and you poke the thought in the chest and you say, what value are you bringing to my life? And you force that negative thought to justify itself to you. And you answer, you have no place in my life. Do not accept the negative thoughts into you. Now, nobody intelligent can walk around being happy and thinking only happy thoughts all of their life. But what you can do is you can say, I understand that these thoughts are here, but I'm putting them in a cordoned off area within me. I note they're there. I don't even give them a name, but I do not accept them into myself because they do not belong with me, because I know I am good enough, I am lovable, I am important, and I matter. Now, very often these things are to do with the past. And the thing is that this does call here and here for forgiveness of people and events in the past, and in particular, forgiveness of yourself, acceptance of who you are. You are beautiful. Go into your bathroom and look into the mirror, and there, looking back at you, is a magnificent, beautiful, wonderful painting right in front of you. It is intricate, detailed, a painstaking labor of devotion and love. The colors are like no other, and they swim and leap. They trickle and they embellish.
And yet, you choose to fixate your eyes on the small fly that has landed on the mirror. Why do you do such a thing? Now, it does talk of forgiveness here, which is really hard, I know, but I think for you, the way to think about forgiveness is this. It is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. Now, I know that you may think that forgiveness means accepting what has happened to you. It's not that. Rather, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay to have happened, it should have happened, those words should have been said, that event should have happened, but rather it is accepting that it has happened. And now, where are you going to start walking? The way will open up for you. You see, forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on to the hoping and wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when you get that, you become a more complete person. And when you let go, the past, which is in the cemetery, that's where it is, it's in the cemetery. You don't have to take flowers to the cemetery anymore. And the past will not hold you in a prison cell, nor as hostage to life itself. And then let's have a look at this great energy which is in the center here. What's happening? Well, this is as a queen, water, and wands, fire, the watery aspect of fire. This is a time now when there's great self-knowledge, perhaps come about as a result of this to you, change, and a great degree of compassion here. You see, she has mastered self-knowledge. She has looked deep into her own nature, which has led to a transformation of her being. You know, many years ago, when I was a young man, I read a backstory to this queen here, which said that at one time she had black hair, and the panther, black, was her companion. And the transformation that she underwent left her with golden hair, and it turned the panther into a lion. However, her knowledge of her former condition filled her with compassion for herself and all those other creatures and people not yet freed. And in order to be able to help others, she chooses to wear reddish-brown hair and keeps the lion in the form of a leopard whose black spots bear witness to the darkness of the past. And she sits on a fiery throne, doesn't she, wearing an armor of scales with a fish emblem on the breast. Can you see that there? It is the unifying of water and fire, of intuitive recognition and emotional involvement, which bring about transformation. And her crown now, as with you, is that of one of intellectual clarity and expanded perception, but it still bears the nails of the crown of thorns, a reminder of her, maybe a humiliation or a suffering which came before this transformation that you are now going through. And her eyes, they are closed in silent ecstasy. Her consciousness is turned inward, and the presence that she gives off is one of blessedness and peace. Now, the pine cone at the end here, I think, is speaking of spiritual growth. And the way the wand is held in that position, it's reminding you to, Well, to ground your own self-realization here in the world, as well as to allow others to share in it. You've really worked hard on yourself and made progress, and it's time to learn how to share this with other people and let your self-realizations be expressed in your daily life. Say this to yourself now, because as a child of the beloved, it is true. I am a radiant being filled with light and love. And here is power, energy, progress here for you, because this is the 3, which is about multiplication and addition in this sense. We have the sun in Aries. This is great because the sun is exalted in Aries. So a tremendous amount of energy here for you. Great degree of integrity, honesty, self-confidence, and no compromises. Your ideas are now crystallizing. And this is a confirmation, really, that you are on the right path. Now, these 3 wands, they have lotus blossoms, which are in the process of opening up. And this blossoming, I think, is a result of you now coming to grips with who you really are, this inner awakening. Your body, intellect, and spirit are in harmony. And out of this state, an integrity crystallizes, which is not going to allow you to make any lazy compromises. You will understand and permit your power to have free play, never giving it over to anybody else in an attitude of subjugation. But despite all the activity which is going on around you, which is all these things, I think, you nevertheless are going to be centered. Your center will remain untouched and clear, and reflecting on this point of internal stillness will allow a new sense of self-confidence to come into being and guards against an overload of any unnecessary problems. You have a wisdom within you now that is strong enough to repel any anxieties, any negative thoughts, any doubts which may arise. So pay attention to your own point of internal stillness and center yourself and overcome. Surely there are no reasons now, are there, for self-doubt? Do you still yet doubt your worth? Say this to yourself. I have the power, the virtue, the knowledge, the energy to understand, to know, and charge on to love, success, and abundance. Great set of cards for you. Makes so much better for you being here.
Fantastic. Well, unless I see you in the meantime, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. And remember one thing, until I do see you again, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.